Welcome to Sailing El Jaleo. I am a mid-40-year-old who in my early 40s became disillusioned with modern society and all of its promises and pitfalls. Feeling that life was getting a little too boring, I decided to do the logical thing, which is to buy a 40-year-old sailboat and spend the next 3 or 4 years converting it into a long-range, off-grid sailing vessel. Or it might have just been a midlife crisis, who knows. From there, I enlisted the help of my trusty crew, and we've been spending the last 3 years going up and down the east coast of the United States, learning how to sail, learning how to read charts, how to navigate, how to read tides, and basically just how to survive on a sailboat. From here, we plan on spending one more summer up north, doing one last round of upgrades before finally escaping the United States in late 2024 or early 2025. These are our adventures. Feel free to come along if you'd like. Last week we spent a little time in St. Augustine and we did some reprovisioning in Volano Beach. This week we had 15 miles down the Intracoastal Waterway to one of our favorite places to hang out, and that is Matanzas Inlet. Matanzas Inlet is great for us. There are beaches where the dogs can run around and play off their leash, so that's great. We like to drink beer and do grilling there. And Fort Matanzas is located there, which is really cool. We can actually anchor right beside it. And this week we actually took a little cannon fire from Fort Matanzas. I guess we might as well go ahead and get right into it. Grab a drink, climb aboard, and let's get going. Some of the most beautiful sunrises that I've ever seen are at Matanzas Inlet. Unfortunately, soon after arriving at the inlet, we fell afoul of the British. Fort Matanzas was flying the red ensign or the red duster flag of the British, and they felt it necessary to fire upon us. After surviving a full frontal assault by the British, we decided to engage in a little spy craft of our own. Where'd they go? Oh, there they are. Right in front of us, fish. That's so cool. Look at them. Look at them, fish. Water puppies. Look at them. Look at them, fish. I know. After a long, tiring morning of fighting off the British, it was time to hit the beach for a little rest, relaxation, and exploration. I do have to apologize for a couple of these clips. They're a little bit jerky, and that's because when I kicked one of my two GoPros in the water, I had to rely on my phone for filming a lot more, and unbeknownst to me, my phone's video format is incompatible with my video editing software, so I had to try and convert them, and that turned into a jerky mess, as you're seeing right now. But I fixed that issue going forward, so they should be a lot smoother in the future. Back when Linus was a landlubber, one of his favorite things to do was to hang his head out the car window when we went for a ride. Thankfully, that translated seamlessly to dinghy rides, and he really enjoys getting a little wind in his fur. Actually, both of the boys really seem to enjoy dinghy rides. Hanwei seems a little indifferent, but at least the boys enjoy it. After spending an hour at a beach that was comprised mostly of seashells, we decided to check out a sandy beach that was about a mile away. The shoaling at Matanzas Inlet has been a problem for a number of years now. The first year I came, I was lucky enough to make it into the inlet with the aid of another boater who had made it into the inlet. I contacted them and they told me the route to take to get in there, so with their assistance I was able to make it in safely and anchor. And I ended up staying for around 10 days the first time, and throughout that period I saw boats running aground at the inlet throughout the entire tide cycle. It wasn't just a high tide or a low tide issue, it was throughout the entire tide cycle. The shoal had grown that large. So thankfully the inlet had been scheduled to be dredged, and you can see a dredge working down there now. And they ended up dredging the entire inlet area along the ICW and all the way up to marine land. So it was a couple mile section of the ICW that had been a problem for a while now, which is awesome. The dredgers, they do an amazing job. You know, there are certain areas that have been a problem for years along the Intracoastal Waterway, and these guys do an amazing job keeping the waterway open for us to enjoy. After an exhausting morning fighting off the British and exploring the local beaches, it was time for lunch. While I enjoyed a couple of cold liquid snacks, I cooked the dogs some chicken thighs and rice, and shortly thereafter I cooked a couple of brats for myself. As the sun began to sink in the evening sky, the British were scared off by the ferocity of our crew, and we decided to take a little closer look at Fort Matanzas. After the sun relinquished its grip on the day, there was time for one last cocktail before succumbing to peaceful slumber. And that's all we have time for this week. I would love to give a massive shout out to my Patreon crew. Without your guys' support, I would not make these videos. And my Patreon crew is Joan and Juddy Judnick, Val and Chris Alcorn, Denise and Eli Sackett, Sherry Erickson, Deb Shaw, Matthew Spotten, and Peter Allen. Thank you guys so much for your support. It really means the world to me. And I do have one legacy patron member. Her name is Joan Lindbow. Unfortunately, she has passed on, but she lives on in our hearts forever. We miss you, Joan. If you are interested in joining our Patreon crew, there is a link in the description down below. That'll take you to our Patreon page where you can sign up. And that'll give you access to hundreds of behind-the-scenes photos and videos and real-time updates, let you know where we're at and what's going on. And you would help support the channel, which would be awesome. If you do like our videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us out more than you'll ever know. Alrighty, I hope y'all are well, and we'll see you next week.